Happy New Year! I don't know about you, but I find this time of year to be incredibly exciting. There's this new year ahead of us with infinite possibilities. So here's to a prosperous and incredibly successful new year. In fact, let's make this the best year of our lives. Welcome to part 4 of Making Your Resolutions a Reality. So far in this series, we've looked at a brief history of New Year's resolutions. We found that people have been making them for centuries and that people have been challenged to follow through for centuries. We also decided and defined. We're working on something that we really want, and we've defined it in terms of SMART goals. In part 3, we also looked at the top 5 reasons New Year's resolutions fail. We covered the first 2. Now, in this segment, we're going to look at number 3, planning. However, we're going to take planning a step further and look both at planning to get what you want and also preparing for success. As I said before, failing to plan is planning to fail. So having a plan is a price of entry, a must-have. However, we're also going to take a peek ahead and do some preparations. So when we start, we're set up for success. Let's go. If you haven't downloaded it yet or used something like my planning template, take a look at it. I'm going to use it as the basis for this segment. Rather than telling you what to do, I'm going to take you through a real-life example from one of my coaching clients. And as you'll see, this template is very straightforward, as is the process, but it's also very detailed. And most importantly, it works. My client, who was an avid runner much of his life, really wants to get back to his past form for running a 5K, which is 3.1 miles. He used to run races every other weekend and, due to other obligations, got out of the routine. His New Year's resolution is to run a 5K in under 22 minutes. After ensuring that this is something that he really wants and understanding why, it was a great source of pride to him and he misses many aspects of running the races, we define this in terms of SMART goals. This goal is pretty specific. A sub 22-minute 5K. So 22 minutes is the target, and anything below that is a bonus. He will measure this by running a timed 5K at a track to ensure he is precise and so that he can monitor his time at each 400-meter lap. While his current average is 26 minutes and 30 seconds for a 5K, he feels that he can do this over the course of a year. This is very relevant to my client because he wants to compete at a high level in his age group in the 2014 running series. It meant a lot to him when he competed earlier in his life, and he misses the challenge, the competition, and the camaraderie. My client set December 1st as his target date for accomplishing his goal. While being clear on the goal is absolutely essential, the next step to making it a reality is equally important, and that is to plan. For years, I have used a tool called a shaping curve. I love this tool as it helps one break down a goal into steps and allows for an infinite amount of detail if needed. My client and I use a simplified version of this for his goal. In this case, the primary focus is on time. My client has set a series of sub-goals that get him from 26 minutes 30 seconds for a 5K to under 22 minutes by December 1st. To ensure quick success and get some momentum going, I like to think in terms of the first 5 steps, not trying to plan everything at once. In fact, one of the first steps is often to develop a detailed plan. I like to do this to keep things simple and to show that a few well thought out steps are all that is needed to get out of the blocks toward success. I have seen some folks get so caught up in planning that they never act. So let's keep it simple. I have 2 requirements here. First, every step has to be doable. If the steps are difficult or require a lot of new effort, the risk of it not happening goes up big time. Second, each step has to have a due date. This builds in some accountability, and it also helps us build up some confidence as we accomplish these steps. One thing to note about my client's action steps, action number 5 is to add training time to his calendar. I strongly recommend this. Plan and schedule it just like you would any other meeting or commitment, and keep to your plan just like you would any other meeting or commitment. Protect that time. It is a meeting with yourself, and you should always be your most important client, especially if you're working on something that makes you better so you can serve those who are most important to you. The last part is a look at the resources and support you might need. My client has a coworker, Pete, with whom he runs on occasion. He plans to talk with Pete about being a more formal accountability partner. I love this idea. Finding someone else who can help you and give you the occasional push can be a very important part of success. One example of how a friend of mine and I did this years ago is that we had each other's training shoes. We were working out at 5 a.m., so not showing up when the other person did meant that he could not work out. We never missed a workout. My client is also looking into some other things to help him or motivate him, such as an app for his phone, as well as joining a running club. I have some folks say to me, "John, this looks too easy." Well, as I said at the outset, this is very straightforward and planning is relatively easy. It is necessary, however, it is not sufficient. One of the reasons people fail to achieve their goals is that just because they want to change doesn't mean the world is ready for it. This is huge. The world is perfectly set up to keep us doing what we're doing today. Understanding this and having tools to overcome it is the difference between succeeding and failing. It's that simple. I'll explain this in a lot more detail in my next video. So yes, completing this template is easy, and yet it is essential. It's your roadmap to get started. Where most of us run into trouble is when we go to act. So for my client, the alarm clock is going to ring on January 3rd for him to get out of bed and go do his baseline run. This is when it becomes reality. He will face a choice. Do I do what I've committed to do, or do I hit the snooze button and go back to sleep? This is an example of the world trying to keep us where we are. This is why it's tough to lose weight, save money, or change our course. However, I know a secret for overcoming this. In my next video, I'm going to give you the single most powerful tool in my arsenal to help you when life starts to keep you where you are. I call it my silver bullet. So naturally, you have to act. There's no way around this. However, arming yourself by anticipating, preparing for, and acting on things that will try to hold you back is the key to your success. Stay tuned.